Today, we're going to be tearing up the old rulebook for business leadership. Seriously, the skills that used to guarantee success, well, now they're just the starting point. We're going to dive into the new playbook, this powerful mix of financial smarts, tech mastery, and, that uniquely human ingenuity that is completely changing what it means to lead.
For decades, this was basically gospel in the business world. Financial statements were seen as the absolute truth. You had the income statement, the balance sheet, the cash flow. These were the documents that were supposed to tell you everything about a company's past, present, and future.
But what if that map is totally outdated? What if it only shows you where a company has been, not where it needs to go next? The business world today is this dynamic, constantly shifting terrain that demands a completely new way of navigating, one that sees way beyond the spreadsheet. And that really gets to the heart of the new playbook. It's not about throwing out the numbers, not at all. It's about turning them from this historical record into a powerful, forward-looking story, a strategic narrative. So let's break down the three core pillars that make this possible. Okay, first up, financial fluency. And look, this is so much more than just balancing the books. It's about moving from simply reporting the numbers to strategically interpreting them, uncovering the deep story they tell about a company's real value, its hidden risks, and all those untapped opportunities.
And this slide, it perfectly shows you the two sides of that coin. On one hand, you've got the disaster of creative accounting. Think Enron, where they just hid debt and invented profits. We all know how that ends. But on the other side, you've got the strategic genius of someone like Warren Buffett, who uses financial analysis to dig deep and find a company's true intrinsic value. Today's leaders have to master this difference.
To do this, leaders need some pretty sophisticated tools. One of the most important is something called purchase price allocation, or PPA. Think about it like this. When you buy a house, you're not just buying the bricks and mortar, right? You're buying the location, the neighborhood, the future potential. Well, PPA is how a company, after it buys another company, figures out the value of all the intangible things it just bought, like brand reputation or customer lists, not just the factories and inventory. And this is where PPA goes from being just an accounting term to a real strategic weapon. As you can see here, it lets you put a real dollar value on those incredibly powerful, intangible assets: brand loyalty, customer relationships, secret sauce tech. It's how you separate the true economic value from just the numbers on a spreadsheet, and that turns finance into a powerful tool for driving your M&A strategy. Now, that shift in how we think about finance, it's totally connected to our second pillar, the tech engine. Technology isn't just a support function anymore, running in some back office. It is the very engine at the heart of modern business, driving everything at a crazy pace. And the speed of this change is just staggering. It feels like just a moment ago, the cutting edge was all about using blockchain to decentralize supply chains. Then, suddenly, we were all trying to wrap our heads around exponential technologies, where computing power was just doubling and doubling. And bam, now we're living in a world where generative AI is writing code, designing products, creating content. The pace is relentless. If you stand still, you are already falling behind. So what's the bottom line here? Leaders just can't afford to be tech illiterate anymore. This toolkit you see on the screen, it isn't optional. You've got to be able to harness data to make decisions. You absolutely need a coherent AI strategy to compete. A resilient digital supply chain is non-negotiable. And of course, understanding cybersecurity and the whole Internet of Things is just fundamental to survival. All this increasing complexity in finance and tech actually brings us to our third, and honestly, maybe the most important pillar: the human element. Because with algorithms getting smarter and automation everywhere, the most valuable skills are now the ones that technology just can't copy. And that leads us to a pretty fundamental question, doesn't it? In a world that's so driven by data and machines, what is the uniquely human thing that's going to set the next generation of leaders apart? The answer? It's the ability to connect. It's about building a compelling vision that people actually want to get behind, navigating all the messy human stuff that comes with change, and inspiring teams to create something new. The financials give us the map, tech gives us the car, but it's the human element that provides the direction and the drive. And this toolkit right here, these are the new power skills. Storytelling isn't just for the marketing department, it's for building a vision. Art thinking, which is really about finding creative solutions that data alone can't give you. That's how you get true innovation. And being able to manage change and get all your stakeholders on board, those are the skills that make sure the whole organization moves forward together. These are total force multipliers.
Okay, so we've got these three big ideas: financial fluency, the tech engine, and the human element. But how do they actually come together in the real world? Let's look at a perfect example: strategic cost management. And trust me, this is about way more than just slashing budgets.
It's basically a three-step fusion of everything we've talked about. First, you use tech-driven data analytics to map out your entire value chain. Second, you use that human-led strategy to decide where you want to compete. Are you a cost leader or a premium brand? And finally, you pinpoint the key cost drivers you can actually control to win in that space. And this quote just sums it up perfectly. It's about making sure every single dollar you spend is a direct investment in your strategic goals. See? This is the new Leadership Playbook in action, a seamless blend of financial discipline, data-driven insight, and human-centered strategy. All right, so let's pull all of this together. We've seen how leadership has evolved, right? From basic accounting to strategic finance, from tech being a simple tool to a powerful engine, and a big shift back toward the irreplaceable value of human skills. You see, the old way of leading was like being handed a map, the financial reports, the market analysis, and just following the roads that were already there. But that world and those roads, they're disappearing. The leaders of today and tomorrow, they aren't just map readers, they are map makers. They're tasked with building a brand new compass, one that brings together financial fluency, technological power, and human insight to find a new path through a future that hasn't been written yet. So the new Leadership Playbook isn't a set of rigid rules. It's a powerful set of tools. And with these tools, the question isn't really about what's possible anymore. The real question is, what are you going to build with them?